What is up, guys? Rudely Awoken Kackis here. Thank you so much for stopping by, and today we have some brand spanking new Destiny 2 news, courtesy of a bright and early Bungie weekly update that has just gone live, unveiling some official information, and it's a big one today, so let's get started. First things first, Bungie talks about the upcoming brand new Beyond Light raid, and of course the world's first race. So this is going to go live Saturday, November 21st at 10 a.m. Pacific. And once people beat the raid, Bungie will actually be tweeting out, hey, the raid has been cleared, but then they're actually going to go back through and look at the game data to make sure that that run was legit and not just done by cheaters. So the world's first actual winners are not going to be announced at the exact same time like the raid is beaten like it usually is. In fact, Bungie says their goal is to congratulate the winning team on Monday, November 23rd, a couple days later. Now, there are some important things to be aware of. Firstly, contest mode will be active for the first 24 hours, making your character 20 power below each encounter. The artifact power will be disabled also during contest mode. So the goal is to get to a power cap of 1230 gear score. Again, you're not including artifact. And if you get to that point, you should be good for all the encounters within that first 24 hours. Being above 1230 doesn't give you any advantage for those first 24 hours. As soon as it ticks over to the 25th hour, you'll get a huge advantage. And let's take a look at some of those raid rewards. The world's first team is going to get this belt right here. Then we have the day one raid emblem showcased right here. And as always, there's a raid jacket, but there's actually a little bit of a difference. It's a raid parka this time around. And you can claim that as long as you've beaten the raid before December 1st. Also, a side note, Bungie did say that they've actually fixed the crazy stasis bug that would insta-kill bosses. Thank goodness, that would definitely impact the raid. Moving on from there, Bungie also announced something super interesting, SMS Verification, or Mobile Number Verification. So, they say Bungie is implementing a quick account validation step for free-to-play players who want to access our high-stakes PvP modes in Destiny 2 on PC. Free-to-play accounts, PC only, will need to link and verify a cell phone number to their accounts via Bungie.net before being able to access those activities. Wow, and those activities are Trials of Osiris, Iron Banner, and Comp playlists. So, wow, that's a huge deal because that is going to deter a lot of cheaters. The reason being is because if you cheat right now in Destiny and get banned, it's free to play. You can hop on a brand new account and start cheating again. But if you have to verify a cell phone number, well, you don't get unlimited amounts of those, especially since Bungie is going to text you a code, so you can't just use a random one you don't have. So now when they ban your account, they ban the number associated with that account as well, meaning that the ability to create a brand new account and start cheating again, it certainly gets a lot more difficult. So that should make PvP a lot better. But speaking of, Bungie just nerfed Stasis. That's right, this is one of the quickest changes we've ever seen in terms of balancing, but a lot of Stasis abilities were impacted. Now, the Destiny community is a little bit split. A lot of players are saying that Stasis is pretty overpowered in PvP, and a lot of players are saying, it's totally fine, you streamers need to shut up and stop complaining. But, in my opinion, it was a bit much. Grenades don't even one-hit kill. If I stick you with a fusion grenade, which is not an easy thing to do, you're not even gonna die from that. You can get out of that fight and survive. But if I hit you with a cold snap grenade, I don't even need to be accurate. It will track and freeze you solid for nearly 5 seconds, and you basically have no chance of escaping if I have even an ounce of gun skill, right? So that was the problem. It was just a little bit too easy to use, too oppressive, and I think a lot of the people arguing for it not to be nerfed were maining it and really reaping the benefits, if you know what I'm saying. You know you were. Alright, let's talk about these changes. So, For Stasis, firstly, the breakout damage was reduced from 110 damage down to a little bit below 90 damage. They've also adjusted the curve that reduces breakout damage using resilience. So they increased the damage reduction effect resilience has so that higher tiers of resilience are more viable. And this effect caps out at 90 resilience. So if you have 90 resilience, presumably you're going to be breaking out of being frozen with almost full health. Moving on from there, the Penumbral Blast, the Stasis Warlock melee projectile speed has been reduced by 20%. The range has also been reduced. It was 28 meters and it's now 16 meters. Almost 30 meters, what? The Winter Wraith, the Warlock Super, duration has been reduced from 30 seconds down to 24, and the Winter's Wrath Light Attack for the Warlock Stasis Super has had its cost reduced. So it was 5% per burst, and now it's 4.5% per burst. That's actually a little bit of a buff. And also the Cold Snap Seeker speed has been reduced by 23%. Now some more changes specifically against Guardians. This will not affect PvE. So firstly, Cold Snap freeze duration has been lowered from currently 4.75, nearly 5 seconds of freeze duration, down to 1.35. Massive, massive change. Ice Flare Bolts, the freeze duration lowered by the same amount. The Penumbral Blast, the again Warlock melee, freeze duration lowered to the same amount. And the Winter's Wrath Heavy Attack, the Stasis Warlock Super, no longer affects players who are not encased. And wow, those are some pretty substantial changes, especially the change to the freeze duration. Now, if you're playing Stasis, you're going to need to be on it. No longer are you going to be able to throw a Cold Snap grenade and pretty much guarantee a kill. Now you're going to need to be there in those 1.5 seconds, ready to start tagging your opponent. Is this too much in the other direction? We're going to have to wait and see. But I think everyone out there should be agreeing on the fact that this is a swift change, and that is good. I'm so much happier to see a nerf, even if it's maybe too much of a nerf, in the first, week or so, rather than having to wait 10 months or 6 months, right? Like, how long did it take Bungie to nerf before pretty obviously oppressive things like the mountaintop? So if they did nerf things a little bit too far, hopefully we can see kind of an equally speedy buff up. Everyone starts complaining that Stasis is a little bit underpowered, 1.5 seconds, not enough time. Then hopefully in another week's time, Bungie says, all right, you guys are right, we're raising it to 2.35 seconds of freeze duration, and then everyone says, all right, that's perfect, that seems fair, very good, but not overpowered. We should be asking and we should be expecting to get to that point where changes to balance are made in a reasonable amount of time, not half a year. So hopefully this is the standard going forward. Now moving on from there, there's going to be a charity event with games to give. And it's going to be starting at December 1st at 10 a.m. Pacific. Bungie is going to be kicking off a 24-hour streaming marathon, and other community members can sign up to host their own fundraising stream. So as for incentives, if you donate $25, you're going to earn this in-game emblem, and if you donate $50 or more, you're going to earn this as well as the previous one. $100 or more will earn all the previous things, as well as be entered to win additional prizes like the Beyond Light Digital Deluxe Edition, etc. And the best part is that 100% of those donations will be going to the charity. And that is going to be benefiting things like the Children's Miracle Network hospitals, benefiting sick kids across the country. But moving on from there, Bungie is making a very interesting change to the Destiny 2 loot pool starting November 24th with a hotfix. And this is in response to the community feedback that there isn't enough weapons to go after. So what they're doing on this day is that they're going to firstly remove all legendary weapons that hit their infusion cap at the end of this season. So that would be the weapons from Season of Dawn. A good example, the old fashioned, that hand cannon is still dropping right now from random engrams, so that will be removed from the loot pool. Now what is that going to be replaced with? Well, they say they're going to add all of the 7th Seraph weapons from Season 11, so Season of the Worthy. So the 7th Seraph Officer Revolver, the machine gun, very importantly, that's a good one. There's also an SMG as well as a sidearm. And very importantly, although really the hand cannon and kind of the sidearm's actually pretty underrated, and the machine gun is like kind of the main thing people are going to want to go after, but all of those weapons, even if you don't get the best roll ever, they can spawn Warmind cells and they work with all of those perks. So now you're actually going to have a way to get weapons that do so, whereas right now you really don't. But the gunsmith is still selling Warmind cell mods, right? So now you actually have a way to utilize those mods you've been hopefully buying. Also, they're going to add all of the Season 11 seasonal and planetary reprisal weapons. And then lastly, they're going to weight the drop chances so the newer an item is, the more likely it is to drop. And I think that's a very, very good change, especially giving players access to those Warmind cell weapons. That is absolutely huge for players who maybe just started now or last season or whatever and don't have a lot of those. And so guys, that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed, found this informative, and if you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickKackis. That's linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.